Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw, kicking off our third A to Z of LGBTQ+. Coming up, a transgender Jesus. First though, A is for Andy the Furniture Maker. What's become a cult 1980s UK documentary about young gay man Andy Marshall showcased not just his skill for making critically acclaimed pieces from reclaimed wood, also covers his extremely varied, shall we say, background as a car thief, a fisherman and a sex worker.
Became a rent boy for a while, met a few characters. If there wasn't any women about, I used to jump in the car and just say, well, I do. 99% of the time you did. So all they wanted was a whack, so... And the women got more, so you could ask for more.
A gay man like him hadn't featured on UK TV at the time, back in 1986. Paul Orumland's documentary shows how Andy, who's since died, goes on to become the toast of London's art scene.
Pride Daily.
B is for the Black Palace, Mexico's Lecumberri prison, where men were locked up for being gay. From 1900, they were held in terrible conditions on what was known as Corridor J, that being the first letter of a derogatory term for homosexuals in the country. It stopped functioning as a jail in 1977, reopening 5 years later as Mexico's National Archive.
Pride Daily.
C is for transgender actor and activist Renata Carvalho. The Brazilian played a trans Jesus in the 2017 play The Gospel According to Jesus, Queen of Heaven. It caused outrage and was repeatedly shut down. She also set up Monart, the national movement of transgender artists, which, amongst other things, fights for the inclusion of trans bodies in arts, culture and society.
Pride Daily.
And D is for Michael Dillon, thought to be the first trans man to have gender-affirming surgery. The Oxford University graduate started taking testosterone in 1940, had a chest reconstruction 2 years later, and began nearly a decade of bottom surgery in 1944. After being outed by the British press in 1958, he joined a monastery in India and became a Buddhist monk. It's where he died in 1962 at the age of just 47.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. Our third A to Z of LGBTQ+ continues. Coming up, invasion of the drag queens. First though, E is for Egypt, where police hunt for LGBTQ+ people on dating apps and social media. Being queer is effectively criminalised there, despite no specific law against it. Other legislation's used instead, targeting indecency, scandalous acts and debauchery. Officers entrap people by starting conversations on apps like Grindr and Who's Here. The BBC's seen police documents detailing one such chat.
Have you slept with men before?
Yes,
How about we meet?
but I live with mom and dad.
Come on, dear. Don't be shy. We can meet in public and then go to my flat.
I'd have been out at Come On Dear. The same's being done by criminal gangs in Egypt. They film themselves attacking and humiliating LGBTQ+ people, then blackmail them by threatening to upload videos.
Pride Daily.
F is for the yearly drag queen invasion of the Fire Island Pines. The New York hamlet off southern Long Island has long been an LGBTQ+ sanctuary, but in 1976, a restaurant refused entry to a man in drag. Not long after, a whole gaggle of queens descended on the Pines in protest, and they continue to be invaded every 4th of July. The Pines continue to be invaded, not the drag queens.
Pride Daily.
G is for Wendy Guevara, the first transgender woman to win a Mexican reality TV show. The social media influencer was on the country's version of Celebrity Big Brother in 2023. She since joined the lineup of a Hispanic US TV talk show, making her the first trans host on a national network there.
Pride Daily.
And H is for gay artist and LGBTQ+ activist Keith Haring. Many of the New Yorker's often colourful, cartoony works were a response to social issues like the 1980s AIDS epidemic and drug abuse. He coined the phrase "crack is whack" in one of his murals. He died from AIDS in 1990, aged 31, and the Keith Haring Foundation, set up a year after his diagnosis, continues to fund and support AIDS research, charities and education.
The Queer Family Podcast.
Hey there, listeners. Do you like to hear real and honest stories? And do you also believe in inclusion and diversity? If so, I have the podcast for you. My name is Jamie, and I'm the host of the Queer Family Podcast, the show all about family, but with gay. I go in depth with weekly guests about how they built their beautiful queer families and how we all show up in a world that wasn't necessarily designed for families that look like ours. The mission is to uplift, highlight, normalize, and celebrate LGBTQIA plus families in all of our beautiful identities, and we do just that week after week. Tune in every Monday to new episodes. Find us wherever you find your pods. Happy listening.
Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw, continuing our third A to Z of LGBTQ+. Coming up, an 18th century lesbian power couple. First though, I is for Iran, where there's the death penalty for same-sex relations under Sharia law. Even if it's only, as they put it, kissing or touching as a result of lust, you can end up being flogged, and these punishments apply to under 18s as well. Among the many executions we actually know about, 2 men were hanged for being gay in 2022 in a prison they'd been held in for 6 years. Queer Iranian artist Tassila Tabassum, who's now in the UK, tells the BBC there's the everyday discrimination to contend with as well.
Mostly, we were afraid of just normal people, just our neighbors, just the guy from the supermarket. Because people feel entitled to just tell you what they think about you, about your body, about how you look.
It's thought Iran's executed as many as 6,000 gay men and women since the Islamic Revolution of 1979.
Pride Daily.
J is for lesbian South African lawmaker Palomino Jama. The LGBTQ+ activist was sworn in as an MP for the ANC party in June, so Pride Month, at the age of 28. She's involved in work on the new marriage bill, trying to make sure queer relationships are protected by law.
Pride Daily.
K is for King Captain. The American drag king and artist came out as non-binary at the age of 29 and trans mask at 33. Says being authentic's led to less panic attacks, more confidence, and a means of teaching people just how fluid we can actually be.
Pride Daily.
And L is for 18th century lesbian power couple, the Ladies of Llangollen. Eleanor Butler and Sarah Ponsonby were Irish, but lived together in their mansion in Wales and liked to dress in men's clothes and top hats. Didn't occur to some people back then they were actually together. They were a couple for more than 50 years.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw. Our third A to Z of LGBTQ+ continues. Coming up, more than 900 old lesbians. First though, M is for Zika Manikongo, a transgender woman nearly burned at the stake in the 16th century. She was kidnapped in Central Africa and taken to Brazil to be a slave. Authorities there threatened to execute her for dressing according to her gender identity, so she had to agree to wear men's clothes and use her male birth name.
Pride Daily.
N is for the Naz and Matt Foundation. Dr. Nazim Mahmood took his own life in London in 2014 after his conservative Muslim family reacted badly to hearing he was gay. The 34-year-old's mother told him to find a cure. His fiancée, Matt Mahmood Ogston, set up the foundation in his memory to support gay people from faith backgrounds.
If your family won't accept you, your religion won't accept you, your community won't accept you, your community leader won't accept you, imagine how hard that is because you've got nowhere to go, you've got no help. And that's why I set up the Naz and Matt Foundation as a place where individuals can come and talk, to really just let individuals know that they're not on their own.
Matthew says all Naz ever wanted was his family's love and acceptance.
Pride Daily.
O is for the Old Lesbian Oral Her Story project, recording the life stories of gay women aged 70 upwards in their own words. It was started in 1998 by retired American schoolteacher Arden Eversmeyer, who spent her later years campaigning for older lesbians like herself. She died 3 years ago, aged 91, but the project lives on, with more than 900 interviews now in the archive, covering topics like first love and coming out.
Pride Daily.
And P is for Parting Glances, one of the first mainstream films to deal with HIV and AIDS. It's actually a romantic comedy from 1986, starring Steve Buscemi as Nick, whose ex-boyfriend Michael still has feelings for him. While Nick's dying of AIDS, that's not all the film's about. It's also a reflection of gay life at the time in New York City.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGraw, continuing our third A to Z of LGBTQ+. Coming up, formerly the most homophobic town in Australia. First though, Q is for Poland's Queer Museum, which is celebrating its first birthday. It's in central Warsaw, full of artefacts dating back to the 16th century, reflecting the country's LGBTQ+ history. They include the likes of letters, photos and activist leaflets, plus a plaque commemorating queer victims of World War II. Jakub Gawkowski is on the museum's advisory board.
It is a story of oppression, it is a story of different homophobic systems, political system, religious system, but it is also a story of how queer communities were and are resilient. It is a story of getting our own voice, it is a story of becoming visible, and it is a story that continues to this day.
Thanks to TVP World. Quite a thing to have the museum in Poland, the worst country in Europe for queer rights. It draws on the archive of Lambda Warsaw, Poland's oldest LGBTQ+ organisation.
Pride Daily.
R is for singer Chapel Rowan, who confirms she's a lesbian during a gig in America last year. The 27-year-old's anthem, Pink Pony Club, was written straight after she went to a gay club for the first time. It's all about freedom, acceptance and self-discovery. Chapel's also a drag queen and has drag artists perform at her concerts.
Pride Daily.
S is for the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. The San Francisco activist group's been around for 4 decades, fighting for queer rights and doing charity work whilst dressed up as nuns. In the 1980s, they were putting sexual health information out there to help queer people protect themselves against AIDS. They've got branches all over the world, including the London House of Common Sluts.
Pride Daily.
T is for the world's first out transgender government minister, Audrey Tang. The 44-year-old joined Taiwan's executive back in 2016, ultimately looking after digital affairs, having previously been a hacker. Audrey's now a cyber ambassador at large. She learned to code at the age of just 8 and left school 6 years later to set up an IT business.
Pride Daily.
And U is for Ulverston, once known as the most homophobic town in Australia. It was infamous during the 80s and 90s for anti-gay demos and hate speech by prominent people there, plus the council fought hard against the decriminalisation of homosexuality. Things are much improved since, though, with a rainbow flag flown at the town hall and the Ulverston Bridge lit in rainbow colours. Oh, and the Lonely Planet travel guide no longer tells queer tourists to avoid the place. Get in touch on our socials, we're at Pride Daily Pod. That's your lot. We'll wrap up our A to Z of LGBTQ+ on Monday.